this video just into the newsroom of Warren Steed Jeffs on his way back to the the Purgatory Correctional Facility in Hurricane, Utah, where he has been incarcerated for more than a year. He was found guilty today of 2 counts of being an accomplice to rape. Our Mike Watkins is in St. George now with details. Mike, we're waiting for the girl known as Elissa Wall. She has changed her name now, but she was 14 when all this happened, right?
Yeah, right. And we first came to know her as Jane Doe number 4. That's how she was referred to in legal documents. She's the young woman who's now 21 years of age, has married, has 2 children. But back when she was inside the FLDS community in Hilldale, Utah, Colorado City, Arizona, at the age of 14, she was told by her mother and her stepfather that she was going to be placed into a marriage. She said she objected strenuously to anybody who would listen. Warren Jeffs ordered her into that marriage. She went up and said, "My heart is telling me that this is not the right thing to do." Mr. Jeffs allegedly told her, "Your heart is in the wrong place." Forced her into this marriage. It was Mr. Jeffs who actually conducted the ceremony in a little town called Caliente, Nevada. Married Elissa Wall, the 14-year-old girl, to her then 19-year-old first cousin, a young man named Alan Steed, a young man that Elissa Wall said throughout her childhood she didn't like it. He was a bully to her, made fun of her about her weight, was malicious to her throughout her childhood. Suddenly she's told at 14, "You're going to marry this man a couple of days from now." She tried to object and tried to say she didn't want to do this to anybody who would listen. She was forced into the marriage. Mr. Jeffs performed that marriage, and then her designated husband, Alan Steed, raped her 2 weeks after the marriage, and so then again another forced sexual encounter sometime after that. Those are the circumstances of the 2 charges that Mr. Jeffs was today found guilty of being an accomplice to. Miss Wall has said that she would make a comment. Her lawyer told me last night that after the verdict was rendered today, she would come out here, step up to the podium that we have now set up in front of the courthouse, the 5th District Courthouse here in St. George, and make a comment to the media. We're told that that's just a couple of moments away. Very courageous young woman. So many of these young girls have come out of the community telling the same stories. We have reported on dozens of them, but she's the first one that they have actually been able to put together a case and stick it to Warren Jeffs, the man who basically controls all of the lives in Colorado City and Hilldale, Utah. We now see that the door is opening up, being ushered out by bailiffs. We see the county attorney, Brock Belknap, his assistant, Ryan Shan, and Brian Filter. Those are the men who were really responsible for the state's case. Just beyond them, the blonde young woman is Elissa Wall, Jane Doe number 4, now speaking to the media. We're going to go to that camera now.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The jury has reached their verdict. I feel it is a just verdict. I am grateful, after listening to them speak, to hear how conscientiously they applied the law to the facts and how seriously they attempted, with good faith, to carry out their duties. It reaffirms my faith in the jury system. It makes me proud of their service and their hard work. One of the highlights of the past year and a half, and one of the highlights of my entire life, will always be the courage of Elissa Wall. It has been an honor to stand alongside a woman who spoke out to stop a practice of abuse against enormous odds and against enormous power. In my mind, Elissa is a pioneer. There always has to be someone willing to go first. She stood and took the stand and withstood attacks on her credibility and reputation with honor and with dignity. I hope that her example will shine a light of hope for others who might be in other situations where they are in circumstances that they feel like are out of their control. I will always remember and be grateful for Elissa Wall. I also want to thank so many people who helped with the prosecution of this case. My lead prosecutor, Ryan Sham, Jerry Jager, Brian Filter, Roger Smith from my office, my entire office staff, the Attorney General's office and Craig Barlow. I express appreciation to the security staff, the Washington County Sheriff's Office, and the St. George Police Department. This has been a remarkable experience for me personally. I also want to just say that it is very unusual for someone in small town St. George to deal with the media. And I want to just say that I appreciate your courtesy and your patience and understanding as we've tried to do our jobs in this case. We have other work to do. We have more cases pending. We have other things ahead of us. I hope you'll understand that we have to be careful what we say because the case is not over. We're still awaiting sentencing. There will probably be appeals. There are other potential cases related to this matter. So we're just going to go back and go to work. Thank you.
You'll have to bear with me, I'm starting to lose my voice. When I was young, my mother taught me that evil flourishes when good men do nothing. This has not been easy for us. The easy thing would have been to do nothing. But I have followed my heart and I've spoken the truth. Lamont and I would like to convey our love to our families. Mother, I love you and my sisters unconditionally. I will go to the ends of the earth for you. I understand and respect your convictions, but I will not give up on you. I have very tender feelings for the FLDS people. There is so much good in them. I pray they will find the strength to step back and re-examine what they have been told to believe and follow their hearts. This trial has not been about religion or a vendetta. It is simply about child abuse and preventing further abuse. I hope that all FLDS girls and women will understand that no matter what anyone may say, you are created equal. You do not have to surrender your rights or your spiritual sovereignty. I know how hard it is, but please stand up and fight. Fight for your voice and power of choice. I will continue to fight for you. To those who have been there to support and keep Lamont and myself encouraged, words cannot begin to express our gratitude. I hope the FLDS people will feel the same kindness as they make their difficult journey. I would like to thank Brock Belknap and the prosecuting legal team for all their kindness and hard work. There is a saying by Emily Dickinson that says, "Opinion is a flitting thing, but truth outlasts the sun." Thank you.
A very brave young woman, the young woman known as Elissa Wall. She has legally changed her name, formerly known as Jane Doe number 4, before she became known. And Mike Watkins is there. She made it very clear she still has what she called very tender feelings toward the FLDS people, and she says there's much good in them, but that her message is that the girls need to stand up and assert their power of choice, and that her goal is to prevent child abuse. And I think that was very clear. And boy, what a courageous young woman that is. Mike?
Patty, no question about it. I think we have just seen one of the great heroes of our time standing up there and talking with such eloquence, talking about this was not a vendetta. This was about empowering young people who perhaps feel themselves in a situation where they have no control. This young woman is indeed, as Brock Belknap said, a pioneer. We have been telling these same stories for how many years now, and it finally took an Elissa Wall. And I think the beauty of this story has always been, certainly from my storyteller's perspective, the people who have made the difference are women who have gotten out of that community and stood up and said, hell no, we're not going to allow happen to our young sisters, our brothers, our nephews, and our nieces. What happened to us, we will not allow it to happen to them. Elissa Wall is a pioneer. This was a big step forward in the states of Utah and Arizona in stopping this child abuse, this rampant child abuse, this predation on young girls that has really spiraled under the leadership of Warren Jeffs among the FLDS community. And she's right. As a whole, they are some of the finest, most decent, most hardworking, smartest people you're going to find, born into a situation where they're told there is only one right way, and that's under the leadership of the prophet. In Mr. Jeff's case, that leadership has taken on all kinds of sinister and abusive dimensions, but Elissa Wall stood up today. She's really a great hero in a long line of heroes, starting with people like Flora Jessup, women up in Salt Lake City that formed a group called the Tapestry Against Polygamy. That's where this revolution started. It's fitting that a woman is really leading the charge here because they are the heroes of this story.
And as Brock Belknap indicated, there are more cases to come, and you know the word's going to get out to other girls in those communities, and more,
it's out.
More will come forward.
It's out. You know that the word has already spread up on the Arizona Strip, in Hilldale, Utah, Colorado City, El Dorado, Texas. They know what's happened to their prophet, and they know that the states of Utah and the states of Arizona are no longer going to tolerate these forced underage marriages, the statutory rape of these children, the tossing aside of the young boys. The states have made a very powerful statement today.
And the Utah Attorney General, Mike, had this to say, Mark Shurtleff: this verdict is a victory for the many victims who have been hurt by Warren Jeffs and have been too afraid to speak out. Everyone should now know that no one is above the law. Religion is not an excuse for abuse, and every victim has a right to be heard. We also have a statement from Attorney General Terry Goddard from here in Arizona that history was made today and that this case was not about religious beliefs, but about protecting young women from being abused. Much more about this story. Thank you so much, Mike, for your hard work in this case. You've done an awesome job all these years, and we're going to have much more coming up on Good Evening Arizona.